Okay, so what I'm working on today is I'm making signs for my bouncy house company. Clean up my workspace a little bit here. I got a lot of projects going on. There's my bouncy houses. Okay, first things first, I got to get some ventilation going in here. I'm going to point my fan so that it sort of circulates the air up. These signs in particular, this type of paper, this green paper, needs to be sprayed when it's sitting up at an angle. So I have this thing kind of set up here. The fan off of it directly. Do that. This thing's almost out. Now I don't want to get too much paint on here or it'll start to run. You'd be kind of surprised, even with just a little bit of paint, you can see it. I mean, it's bright green. With just a little paint against the bright green, you can see it just fine. I got two goals when I'm spraying here. One is to make sure that I get an even coat on the letters, even if it, well, not even so much even as all of it covered a little. And then, okay, this is a bad one. I did this one really horribly. I'm running out of paint. Let me get a can that's got more paint in it and I'll show you how this is supposed to go. You can see it's already running back there. Damn it. Shit. Yeah, I was going way too slow with the can, which is okay. Now you can see how not to do it. So now I'll show you how to do it. You got to use a fresh can. That one's empty. With my trash heap. I don't like to throw stuff away right away because you never know what you're going to need. Okay. Now I'll show you how this is supposed to go. I need a fucking beetle or something, Jesus. Okay. I know it looks like I'm not getting a lot on there, but what I'm doing is a couple of things. I'm saving paint, I'm saving time, and I'm saving my stencil. This stencil for sure has an amount of uses until it's no good anymore. When it gets too thick, what happens is it starts to bunch up and get closer and closer. The thickness of the paint starts to squeeze in the letters, and before you know it, they're not the letters you intended. So that's a quick one. I still got a little drip there. So, repeat.
For all the times that you ain't on my parade, and all the clubs you're getting using my name. You think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. And I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want anyone.
A lot of these drips have to do with the paint that I'm using. It's the cheap stuff that you get at Walmart or any of the home improvement stores. These pink poster boards are super sturdy. I like these a lot more, and they really catch people's attention when you're driving by. You can really see these. Not that the green ones don't, but these are a lot more rigid, but they're made out of a slippery paper, and the ink will run right by, or the paint will drip right off of them. So I have to do these with the stencil and poster board laying down flat, which is better for me as far as not having runs, but it's worse for the paint because the paint wants to be standing up when it sprays. That's just kind of the nature of dealing with $1 paint cans. The good stuff will spray from all different angles, but this stuff is not going to do that. You also have to be careful when you're making these signs not to do too many at once, because what happens is back here, which is happening now, you see this stuff here, this is paint that's on the back of the sign. So I'll make one more and then stop, but I just wanted to make a quick video on how I make these signs.
And I still care, I don't, but you still in my phone now. Baby, I'm moving on, and I think you should be something I don't wanna hold back. Baby, you should know that.
And then you always want to put this stencil back on a super flat surface, as flat as possible, maybe not even the concrete, because what happens is if the concrete's bubbly or if the concrete isn't completely smooth, it'll make a ripple in here where the air will get down underneath. So you'll have blowouts where the stencil is raised. So it's better to put it down on something super flat, because when this paint dries, it gets hard. So then this thing gets really stiff. It's almost like an epoxy on here when it's all said and done, and you get layer after layer of the stuff on here. And like I was saying earlier, these gaps here will close in the more you use it. So these for sure have a shelf life and an amount of times that they can be used. So better paint means you get better coverage and have to spray less on your stencil, but it also means a lot more money, because this can of paint is 97 cents or something like that. You can get the same thing at Lowe's or the other big home stores, or you can spend $4 or $5 for a can of paint that's really good and you can barely touch it, and it's going to put a good coat on here. But when it's all said and done, you're going to spend way more money on paint, and it really doesn't matter. A lot of these signs, if you've watched my how to start a business on $20 videos, you'll see that a lot of these signs are only going to stay up for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. Sometimes you get lucky and they'll stay up for 2 or 3 months, which is great because thousands and thousands of people see them every single day. You put them up on the street corners and they get seen like crazy. Door hangers, all that stuff, it doesn't work. Sometimes you can get those little savvy shopper type deals to work. We're going to use those kind of magazines for this business. We had a cleaning business for a long time, and this is how we advertised and stayed in business. So we're doing it again with the Bounce business, and this is how you make the signs.